Hi, welcome to this adventure with us, the Simpson family, attempting the Great Glen Canoe Trail from Fort William to Inverness. So everyone's gonna nice plastic rim on the edge so it's not too much.
If I roll the barrel down, do you think it'll land in the canoe?
Okay. Yeah, do it. Bye, Isla. Bye.
Ready? Yeah, ready.
Remember the camera?
Inverness, here we go.
I so wanted something more.
At the start, where the canal meets the sea in Fort William, there's Neptune's Staircase, which is a series of, I think, 7 or 8 locks immediately after each other. You'd be absolutely mad to try and portage that in a canoe, so yesterday we came down to the sea and we walked just up to the top of Neptune's Staircase. The first 10 kilometres from there up to Loch Lochy is a pretty boring canal, which is what we're going through just now, and we stopped for a morning break. Come on, Ilo, do some paddling. Mummy's been lazy in filming us, yeah, there wasn't everything. This is us now leaving the canal into the first of the 3 lochs on the route, which is Loch Lochy. In many ways, Loch Lochy is one of the really beautiful areas of this route. It's a little more remote and less touristy than Loch Ness, but a very similar geography. Very deep, very, very cold water in a glen, a long thin loch that we're trying to follow one edge of. Okay, so first interesting bit of the trip, it's got quite choppy here in Loch Lochy. So we've come into a beach, we're having a quick look around and we're on a peninsula. And the end of the peninsula is just off here to my right. And after that peninsula is a bit of woodland and it gets very, very quiet in a bay. So we've unloaded the children and the children are going to carry a few of the bags through the woods to the other side of the peninsula. Louise and I are going to go out by ourselves and try and get the boat back round this choppy bit and into the next bay. I'm not sure if it improves significantly after that bay, but if it doesn't, then we can always camp for the night. We're about an hour behind where we want it to be. If it does improve, we'll carry on and try and get to the campsite we're aiming for. I'm probably not going to film for this next bit because my GoPro isn't working and this camera isn't waterproof and I don't want to risk it, so we'll see how it goes. So that went okay actually. Louise and I got the boat round here fine. It's just as wavy here and there is another headland, so we might have to do the same again, but I think it's a bit more sheltered, so we might just try it with the kids and the bags back in the canoe now. Anyway, we're going to have our afternoon rest here, make a cup of tea and relax for half an hour.
Andy, we're gonna have to wait a really long way to get past this.
We might do 2 zigzags.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think we're going to do 2. It's a very long way to
Yeah, I think it would be.
We're round the headland, the waves are small and it's all going good. It's almost fun now.
It is. It was fun around there too.
Yeah.
Just a slight fear of getting wet.
Yeah.
Let's try and just get you in the back while we're doing this. Hello! Saturday afternoon, nearly a campsite. 1 hour to go. Okay, we've made really good progress this afternoon, actually, since that slightly alarming bit with the headlands we had to get round. The weather has turned a little bit and it's behind us now, so the wind and the waves are actually pushing us up the loch. And although there are still some waves and even in places little whiteheads developing, because it's behind us, it's not rocking the boat, it's just pushing the boat up the loch and we're making really good speed. We've done about 4 miles since our rest. We've got about 1 mile left until our campsite, and when we get there, I think we're going to deserve our dinner this evening. See you there. Well, we made it 15 miles to the campsite today. Very long first day.
Very long.
Very long, but we're thrilled. That's actually a quarter of the trail done on the first day. We're aiming to do it in 5 days, so we can relax a little bit in the following days, and it takes the pressure off. It's in Loch Ness, which is ahead. And Loch Ness is a really difficult one. Well done, Johnny. Come on, Ruth. Go. Swim, swim, swim.
This is freezing. Utterly freezing.
So, because we're spending a lot of time paddling each day on this trip, we've decided not to cook food from scratch. We pre-prepared meals before we came, and we've used a dehydrator to get dehydrated meals. These are much cheaper than buying the stuff commercially. So today we have some sort of risotto, and to make it more interesting, we have Parmesan cheese, pre-grated, 2 little sachets of that, and some chorizo. So we'll cut the chorizo into it, and that'll give us a bit of protein and a bit more fat. The one big problem with dehydrated meals that you make yourself, it's very difficult to dehydrate anything that has fat in it. So we end up trying to add in butter or bits of fatty meat or something else to reintroduce that into the diet. So that's this evening's dinner. Each day we've got 1 bag, and each bag is sorted out for 3 days that are ahead of us. Beyond that, we'll need to stop in Fort Augustus and buy more food, and maybe we'll get steak or something nice one evening anyway. This kind of has a texture of some sort of breakfast cereal. It's really weird stuff, but It still tastes like risotto, just a bit dry, crunchy. It'll be nicer in half an hour. There.
Here, just really close up of the chopping board and the knife and the tray. So.
1, 2, 3, take a picture. Mama, my uncle's getting really cool from wearing my rally.
There's no science to this at all, it's just a pure guess on how much water we need, so we'll see how it goes. Probably that much.
Click the red tabs onto the red poles,
Yep.
and the grey tabs go onto the grey poles.
Okay.
And then we pull them up here, you reach through. So this one goes onto the red, the crossover. See? So then go around to the other side, and there's an eyelet around the other side, and you need to pull this down, all the way down. Keep pulling, and put it in there. Perfect, now we need to get the outer.
Right, and now for the finale we have wood sorrel that Jonathan has foraged for us. Fantastic. Isn't that good, Johnny?
It's actually really nice.
Yeah, I haven't tried any.
Will you eat some and then
This
tell Daddy
is
how
so
nice it is?
good. But
Yeah.
that chorizo has a kick to it.
Yeah, it is actually very spicy. The chorizo. It's nice.
We've got a bit of forest floor in now.
I'm really excited because I've just been going for a walk through the woods and I've seen these. And these are chanterelle mushrooms. They're some of the most delicious wild growing mushrooms you can find. They're absolutely lovely and these are perfect specimens. That's really nice. Lovely and peppery. Look at this, there's loads of them. They're everywhere. We're going to be like kings. This is fantastic. So this is by far the most chanterelle I've ever found in one place. And not only that, but this is by far the biggest chanterelle I've ever found. It's sort of the size of the palm of my hand. It's astonishing. And there's copious quantities up there. You get a lot more if you wanted them. So we're going to keep these and have them fried up lightly in some oil or something. We'll see what we do with them. So it's the best time of day. The kids are in bed. They're not asleep yet, but they're in their tents. And Louise and I get to sit out drinking hot chocolate and other stuff and eating all the high calorie sugary food that we want and checking the maps for tomorrow. It's actually a lovely evening out. It threatens rain later, but right now it's dry and we're just enjoying sitting beside our lovely warm fire still.
And the midges aren't too bad.
The midges aren't too bad, amazingly. I think we've got a good combination of smidge, dry warm weather and a fire, and so far we're not being bothered. They were horrible down at the beach, but we're good here. Cheers.
Cheers.
Right, morning. This is the start of the second day. So today we're going to finish Loch Lochy, which is where we're camped just now, and then get back into a short section of canal up to Loch Oich. At the end of Loch Oich, we're hoping to meet Henry and Kathy, who are going to join us for the last hour of the day and then camp with us tonight. The weather this morning seems to be better. It rained quite a lot overnight, so the tents are a bit damp. We're just letting them dry before we take them down. Hopefully, once we get out in the water, it should be a bit less windy than yesterday, but then a big chunk of today will be in the canals and in the shelter of the much smaller Loch Oich, so we should be okay. Looking forward to getting going. It's fine. You point to people and say hello.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning. There. Good.
And I'm going to take a picture far away of the whole campsite. Right? So there's the two-man tent, and there's the one-man tent, and that's where a hammock was. And there's Ruth and Johnny, there's Dad, and there's Mummy, and And then there's the barrel. GoPro, delete that. It's off, Daddy.
Yeah, Isle's quite a long way to the side. Good morning everyone. We have just left our campsite after day 1, started day 2. We're still in Loch Lochy and this morning is beautiful. It's a little bit overcast, but it's cool and it's still. So we're at the second loch of the trip. We're at the top of Loch Lochy now. We're just coming into the next canal section.
GoPro, video Mommy and Daddy. There's the castle. Oh yeah. Try and get the castle in it.
We stopped for lunch here in Inverness and we're going to make some soup, rehydrate some soup that we made anyway at home. The only trouble is just now all the wood is damp, so it's very, very smoky. It rained for a couple of hours last night. It's our soup. And we've got some noodles, hare noodle, that we're going to crumble into it as well. And that should make probably about 2 litres of soup, quite a lot.
We can have the blackbird.
Okay. Okay, but now do it again, but less sarcastic. Well done, kids. We're at Bridge of Oich. We've met up with the Dobsons. Hey everyone. And we're going to do the next hour or so with these guys and then look for a campsite for tonight and cook some delicious chanterelle and whatever else Henry's brought for us to eat.
Whatever else we can scavenge at the next campsite.
So we're with the Dobsons, and in order to let Henry have a chance to catch us up, Ruth has volunteered to do all the paddling for us, which is lovely. We're just having a nice little rest. Well done, Ruth. I wonder how long this will last. We're arriving at Kitra or Kitra Loch, and we're going to try and find a campsite somewhere near here to spend tonight. So that's the end of our little paddle with Henry and Kathy and their family. Henry's currently behind us. We had a little race earlier, and despite significant foul play in which Henry tried to ram us, in fact did ram us at least twice, I'm proud to report that the Simpsons still came out well ahead by at least half a boat. Here's Kathy, who has a completely neutral referee, will agree that we're just far superior, I think. He's having more fun. But I'm sure they're going to enjoy it.
It's the same meal when you
Who are the
see
sun
what they're
trails
all
for?
having in combination.
If you just mash the whole lot.
Which family are the sun trails
I thought we had a
for?
pot big enough.
Daddy,
We're going to share them. The chance trails for everyone.
Daddy, behind me, Dad.
No, I'm not going to make you.
Oh, I need this.
Morning. Start of the third day. We've just finished breakfast and we're packing up to get back in the water here. Main focus of today is to get as far up Loch Ness as possible because the weather's going to break in 2 days' time, day after tomorrow. So we have today and tomorrow to get off Loch Ness. If we don't make it off Loch Ness by tomorrow evening, we're not sure we'll finish the trip because we'll end up crosswind at the far end of Loch Ness with waves going broadside at perhaps 15 mile an hour winds, and that may be enough to stop us. So the pressure is to try and get off the loch tomorrow. I don't know if we'll make that or not, but let's see how far we get.
March winds and April showers make way for sweet flowers, and then comes on land. March winds and April showers, romance will be ours, and I'll go paradise for
Safe travels!
Bye, Henry. Bye, Kathy.
Bye, cameraman.
Bye, Henry. Bye, Kathy.
So we've just left Port Augustus and we've now come onto Loch Ness. We're cutting across the bay on the south-west corner to get to the south shore of Loch Ness, and it's a very different view from the other lochs we've been on. It's huge, and to be really honest, it is quite intimidating, but we're hoping when we get to the shore ahead it will feel a bit more sheltered, but right now it feels like we're in the sea, not a loch. We're passing this feature. It's kind of the first real feature on the shore of Loch Ness. It's been pretty bleak so far. It's called Horseshoe Craig. Now we thought we would stop here for lunch, and at one stage we thought we might stop for the night here, but actually we're making fantastic progress with the wind behind us. We're doing sort of 14-minute miles, which is more than 4 miles an hour. We normally manage about 3 miles an hour. So we're going to crack on. The weather is beautiful, the conditions are good, there's a slight swell behind us.
This is the most diving board that I know.
So what's the conclusion on the vegetarian moussaka casserole?
I think it's got mince in it.
It's got mince and beef sausages.
Yep.
Is it good?
delicious. but
Delicious
definitely not
vegetarian moussaka casserole. What do you think, kids?
And it's even better because you're camping.
What a difference from yesterday. Almost glassy smooth out here. We've not even needed to stay near the shore crossing Foyers Bay, so we're just cutting across the bay, and the only real problem we're going to have here is midges in the middle of Loch Ness because it's so still. there's just not even a breath of wind. Of course that'll mean we go slower today, but we're pretty confident that we'll get to the whole of Loch Ness done today, and we're looking at finishing tomorrow in Inverness. I'm going to stop talking now and probably just put some music on or something nice for you to relax to. I enjoy our paddling. Like a checkerboard and a wave.
Yeah.
We just stopped here for a brief rest. We've done over an hour, so that's a good time to stop. And we're getting quite close to the end now. We can actually see the end of Loch Ness really well. And on top of that, this fella here is coming past, and the wake he's throwing up is terrifying. So we know it takes about 10 minutes to get across the loch, so we're going to have a 12-minute break, watch it lap the shore, and then we'll take off again once it's passed. Go on, bounce.
Bounce, come on, bounce really hard. Yeah, bounce.
That's gonna snap!
So we started this morning here in Foyers Bay, and we made it all the way up to roughly here. It's just past Buzzard Bay, and we're going to go from here now up here and then cut across to Shore Point. We probably can't do that all in one go. That's probably about an hour and a half paddling. So we're hoping to pull in here somewhere and have a little rest, have a drink, and then make it to about here for lunch. It's only half 11 now. So if we do 45 minutes, a wee quick break and another 45 minutes, we'll be hopefully round Shore Point about 1:30 for lunch. This is the bit that we're a bit scared of going into the Doors Beach in here. So we'll cut across here, and we'll not go into the beach there.
Ruth, come here. Ruth, come here fast. It's already recording. Just point it there. I'm going to help Mummy. Just hold it, point it, keep it level. I'm going to help Mummy. We're coming up to Doors Bay now ahead of us, past this fish farm, and that really is the end of the wide bit of Loch Ness. So we've almost made it, and the weather is still beautiful. The water's almost glassy. We are still getting some bow waves. For example, there's a ferry just passing us on the left now, which will give us a bow wave in 10 minutes or so. So we are going to cut left, avoid going into this bay, cut to the left past the trees and into the canal, about 1 kilometre past those trees. Well, honestly it looks like we made it. We're about 1 kilometre from the end of Loch Ness, and the bit that scared us for the last few days ends up being fine because the weather's so good and the water's so smooth. We're sitting in the shade on what's apparently the hottest day in history in the UK. It's sort of mid-20s here, which is incredibly warm for here, but obviously not anything like the south of England. In reality we could get to Inverness this afternoon, but there's just no point pushing it. We're tired and we're pleased to get to where we are, and we've got equipment and food with us for another day camping. So we'll take the night on a beach somewhere. Finish in a pub at lunchtime tomorrow. So I don't really know what's happening here, but the level of the loch seems to be rising and falling about 15 or 20 centimetres every 10 or 15 minutes by about the length of the canoe. So it's water up to the top of the canoe and it drops right back down to the end of the canoe again. It's obviously not tidal, although that's what we're calling it, but I'd be really interested if anyone does know what's causing it. I assume maybe it's something to do with the locks in the canal, but they're a couple of kilometres away, so it seems like a lot of water movement.
Can we keep him?
Which one's Jathan?
Just keep him in the little box. We can catch his other friends. He's ridiculously cute.
Right, we've made it. We're off Loch Ness. We've officially almost finished the Great Glen Canoe Trail. We have about 10 kilometres left into Inverness that we'll do in the morning. As we expected, just as we have started setting up camp here, the weather has broken. There was a bit of thunder, it was a torrential downpour, and we're sheltering under one of the tarps and one of the hammocks, waiting for this to pass before we can get a fire lit for dinner. So we're incredibly glad that we pushed to get off Loch Ness today, because that means that we will manage tomorrow, but I'm not sure we still want to be paddling if we were out there now. So we will wait this out and see when we get a fire going. Okay, Ruth, take this please. Point it forward. Hold it high and point it forward, it's recording.
Oh.
Okay.
Daddy, when
Ruth, take
can
your
I
hand out.
stop paddling?
One for extra little shoes.
Daddy, I'm paddling. And let me paddle for a wee bit.
Just out when Mummy's paddling on your side.